So we're ready for day 6 of cursive handwriting. I just want to remind you of a few things first about how to hold your pencil. Make sure that you've got just your pointer finger on top, down here close to the end, your thumb on the side here holding it, and it's leaning on your middle finger. You don't want too much down here or it'll make your handwriting look bad. And then your pencil leans back here on this part of your hand. Don't hold your pencil really, really tightly. Hold it with a nice loose grip. And today we're going to learn lowercase o, lowercase a, and lowercase c. So I'm going to write with the blue marker so it shows up better for you guys. So starting with lowercase o, instead of starting at the bottom today, we're going to be starting at the dotted line. So you see right there where I put that dot, that's where you're going to begin. And when we make a print O, it stands up, straight, and it's nice and round. The cursive O looks a little bit different than that. The cursive O will start right here at the dotted line. It's going to be slanted and come up and touch. So you can see how this is slanted and this one's straight up and down. When you close your O though, it's one of these letters that gets a handle. Like last week I think we talked about the W and the B were letters that have a handle, and the O is also a letter with a handle, so it's going to join to other letters in a strange way. So to make your lowercase o, you're starting at the dotted line. You're curving around, touching the bottom, coming up and closing it. Don't pick up your pencil. I'm just picking mine up so you can see. Once you close it, you put on the handle right there. So you make the O, and it's got to be slanted, and then the handle. Now what you don't want to do is make your O too big. You don't want it to look like this, okay? That's not good. You also don't want your handle to scoop down too far. That handle is way too big. That makes it sort of look like a cursive A that we're going to make next. So you don't want to do that either. You want it just to be a small little curve that touches the dotted line and it doesn't come down. So as soon as you're ready, you can pause the video and make a row of lowercase o. When you finish your row of lowercase o, what I want you to do is go back and look at each one. And I want you to find the one that you think is your very best lowercase cursive o. When you found the one that you think is the best, I want you to put a circle around it. So you know that that's what you want all of your lowercase o's to look like. Alright, we're ready for lowercase a. Lowercase a is very similar to making an O. You start at the same place. We're going to start right there at the dotted line. We're going to curve around just like we did for the O. We're going to come up and we're going to close it just like an O. But instead of putting on the handle right there that we did for the O, we're just going to trace that back down and put on a tail. And that's what your lowercase a looks like. It goes around, closes, trace back down, put on a tail. And notice how that tail comes up and touches the dotted line. It needs to do that because that is going to be the beginning of whatever your next letter is. So you make the round part, you close it, trace it back down, put on a tail, and you never pick up your pencil. Now what you don't want to do is separate the round part from the tail. You want to trace that back down. You don't want to do this. See how that leaves all that space right there? That's not good. So that makes it not even look like an A. So you want to make sure that when you're getting ready to put that tail on that you trace that down. So you trace it, make it go all the way around, trace that, and put on the tail. So when you are ready, you can pause the video and make a row of lowercase a. Alright, we're ready for lowercase c. Lowercase c is pretty easy because it looks very similar to a printed C. When we make a C in print, we start a tiny bit below the dotted line because you've got to have that curve on the top. So there's a printed C, just like that. So the same thing when you're making your cursive C. You still want to have that curve on the top So you have to start just a tiny bit below the dotted line. And you just curve around and then come out and put on the tail. So really the only thing very different about that is the tail. And it's like it's reaching out to the next letter. So if you were going to write another letter after it, this would be the beginning of your next letter. So you're going to be just a small amount below the dotted line. You're going to curve around and then reach out. Small amount below the dotted line. You're going to curve around and reach out. So when you're ready, make yourself a row of lowercase c's. Okay, now we're ready for some words. So we're going to incorporate some letters that we learned last week. Last week we learned I, U, T, R, S, and W, E, L, and H, B, K, and F, and J, P, and Q. So we've got a lot of letters we can choose from. So try to think of some words that had some of these letters plus a few of the letters that you learned last week. So the first word we're going to write is clock. C-L-O-C-K. So in print, clock looks like that. C-L-O-C-K. So remember our L from last week is just a big loop, and then our K is similar. So we're looking at this word. The first thing I notice is we've got an O that's going to connect to a C. So I have to kind of think about that first, because if we look back up here at our O's, remember they've got this handle. It's not a tail like the A and the C. So it's going to join to the next letter in a different way. So we kind of look for that when we start to write a word and see where we're going to have a place where there's a tricky connection. And this is definitely a place with a tricky connection. In this word, you should not pick up your pencil at all. And there's no place where we have to dot an I or cross a T. So you should be good to write this whole word without picking up your pencil. So first, we're going to make our C. And when we made our C up here, remember we were reaching out? We're going to reach out, and that's going to become the beginning of our L. C-L-O. Now, when I put my handle on the O, this is where your next letter is going to begin. So our next letter happens to be a C. So when I come right here, I'm going to come out just with my handle, and then I'm going to make this little curve at the top of my C, but then I'm going to force myself to come back. I have to come back this way and then up to make my K. C-L-O-C-K. C-L-O-C-K. And you don't pick up your pencil at all. So you might have a little practice right there between your O and your C, but that's okay. When you're ready, you can pause this video and try to write the word clock. Okay, let's write the word talk. T-A-L-K. So think about the other day when we made our T. It starts at the bottom, all the way up, trace it back down. Our A, we're going to do kind of the same thing. We're going to curve up and make this curve right here, but we're going to stop and force ourselves to go back. We want to force ourselves to go back this way, not keep on going around so we go around and around. We make that curve on the top, and we force ourselves to come back this way, T-A-L-K. Then when we finish, we come back and cross our T. So we have T, A, L, K, and cross our T. So when you're ready, you can pause and write the word talk. Okay, next we're going to write the word walk, W-A-L-K, just to get you used to making that weird connection between a W and an A. So when we write in print, walk looks like this. So when we look at that, I'm going to notice right away that I've got a W. So a W is one of these letters that has a handle, just like the O. So when we connect to that, it's going to be a strange connection. Okay, just like it was with the O and the C. Now we're going to have it with the W and the a weird connection between those two. So you're going to make your W, and when you get right here to make your handle, you're just going to go ahead and curve around a little bit. And that's making the top part of your A. But then force yourself to come back this way. So A, L goes all the way up, K goes all the way up. So you've got this strange connection right here between your W and your A. It just looks like they're hooked together with a little string right there. So W, A, L, K. So you can pause this video and practice the word walk. Okay, tomorrow on day 7, we're going to be looking at how to make a D and a G.